Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And this morning we have another amazing guest. Man, where do we get these people from? Well, there's 8 billion people in the world. I mean, that's what we've been trying to tell you, is that there's a lot of people out there on the internet, right? And here is yet another lady, woman, mother, grandma who found us. And let's find out what she's been up to. Betty, welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you? And where are you calling in
Good,
from?
and you?
Great. Where are you calling in from?
I am in southeastern Wisconsin, Kenosha. So smack dab in between Milwaukee and Chicago.
Wow, Kenosha with some lot of stuff going on there last year. That became
okay.
quite
So
a
there
famous
was,
city.
but it wasn't like our city was burning down like many people thought. But there was some stuff
Yeah,
happening. Yes, but we're good
yes.
people.
I know you are. I know you are. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the internet, because the beautiful thing about the internet, as you know and I know, is that as I just said, there's 8 billion people to do business with. And if you learn, the right business model and how to get a hold of them, and you have a product that they'll buy from you, you can actually do some pretty cool things despite what's going on, maybe right even in your own backyard,
Right.
fortunately or unfortunately sometimes. And we all sort of had a big event that happened that kind of kept us inside over the last year and a half, right? And so it was a pretty good time to know these skills. And what's happening right now is I see a lot of people kind of going back into their normal lives and sort of forgetting about what we just went through and how important it is to be in control of your freedom in your financial situation and so forth. So let's talk about what has transpired in your life in terms of that. So tell us your legendary story, how you found us, and what you were looking for.
Well, my internet online life started way back. I say way back, but in 2009. And I started actually discovering internet marketing because my son needed some dental work done that I couldn't afford at the time. So I needed to make $600, and I found a way to do that online. I thought it's going to take me a month or two, and I'll do that. And I found a way. At the time, it was only eBay really was the place to go to. And I ended up doubling what I needed in like 4 days time. And from that point forward, I was like, I will always be selling something online. But at the time, I didn't make the difference between a physical product and knowledge, and how powerful knowledge can be.
You mean both having knowledge but also selling knowledge, or what
Right. Having the
specifically do you mean?
ability to create an income from knowledge that you have, from being able to share that knowledge with other people to better other people, which is exactly what Legendary is all about anyways. But
Yeah.
so fast forward 2015, I got into learned about affiliate marketing, right? Stumbled across it because now I'm doing, some of my own marketing. And I thought, this is really cool. And I got, signed up with a small company and never really did anything with it because there's a lot of effort that can go into it in the beginning for $2 and $3, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I didn't understand the whole concept of it.
Right. You get those first little tiny commissions. You're like, oh, this sucks.
Exactly. Right. And I
can
think
see that.
if you're doing things and you're not finding reward or return on your energy investment, the excitement dwindles. But I have to say that, well, I'll get into that. But so my legendary story. So I still continue to build my own business. And in 2017, I was able to fire my boss and do my own thing, which was handmade products, right? I was doing candles and things like that, selling them on Etsy, found my own website. And in fact, on June 14th of 2012, I bought my first .com. And on June 14th of 2022, I bought my first .com for Legendary. So it was exactly 10 years.
Do you have 1,000 .coms now? Do you have like 100?
I think 26. I think I have 26. I like to collect them.
We all do. It's a hilarious thing that we do. we go and buy domain names like they are collectibles, man. I mean, it is something
Exactly.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have them, like I think of an idea and there's one of my things was I think of an idea and I have that shiny object syndrome, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
oh, that's a really good
Let me
idea.
go
I better
grab
buy
that
that.
domain name real quick. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I do the
Exactly. So that's
same
what
thing.
I'm like,
Ask Matt. Ask Matt. Matt, oh my God. Oh
yeah,
God. I've
yeah,
bought domain. I still do it to this day. It's not a thing I've
me too.
stopped.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah. Well, I was able to splurge because of starting with Legendary. So I was able to splurge there a little bit for myself, but
Did
there
you
were
go on
still
it
one or
for a
two other
premium
ones.
domain? Did you get a premium one?
I don't have a premium one. One day it will be a premium one, but
No. What a business though, right? All of a sudden
right.
they're just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to charge 10 times more for that name right
Yeah.
there. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. Yes. And you have
who
to
would
get
have known?
creative these days in what you're doing, but yeah.
You do have to
So
get creative.
I actually, knowing that a specific sale was coming up for this company that I had already affiliated with, I was like, oh, you know what? I've got the time now. I'm going to get myself prepped for this time period. And while I was researching that for affiliate marketing in Google search, that's where I stumbled across Legendary, where I stumbled across you and, whatever. So, because
You
it
were
came
the
up, I put it
result
in,
of a
it came up.
shiny object.
So you were a shiny object, yes, but one of the best ones. You were like
Right.
you were the diamond in the rocks. How about that, right?
Oh, I feel thank you.
So yes, so the best shiny object I've ever picked up. And that's how I stumbled across you guys. And then I went ahead and got into the 15-day challenge, which was absolutely amazing. And I could not believe the information that you guys give out for the small investment that it was. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to skip my
That was the
latte
whole
this
evil
morning.
scheme. That's the whole
Right.
evil, that's the whole agenda, and that's what we want people to that's the whole formula is over
Right.
deliver on the front
Right.
end, both in your content
Right.
or on some sort of a lower ticket item to where people are exactly see how good that works and how
Oh
that's
yeah.
not anything that's special to me. It's something that we've just been doing the business model for so long, but it makes so much sense, right? Because
Right.
you get to know how you're going to be treated right up front. And then you get to make a decision whether you want to continue to be treated like that or whether
Yep.
you go in and it's sort of like a restaurant. If they run right over, sit you down, and or at least acknowledge you when you walk in the door, isn't that so much better than just walking in and standing there for 15 minutes? You know how you're going to be treated most likely, and we get to decide whether we want to continue on or not.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that you have somebody that comes on live. My business advisor was amazing.
Who was that?
And you have somebody, I'm sorry,
Well, who? What do you remember their name?
it was Bonnie.
Oh,
Yes. Bonnie King. Yeah.
she's amazing.
That's what I just said, right? We agree. Yeah. She is
She's
amazing.
unbelievable.
So she answered any question that I had about anything, even outside of the scope of, certain specific things. Like she is very knowledgeable. And to be able to have her, I emailed her and she would email me back within an hour. It's crazy, right? Like,
Uncommon even
right.
because we even tell our BPAs, hey, and it's not even realistic. I try to say at some point you have to set a boundary with people and let them know they need to take advantage of the community. But some of our BPAs have a heart. And I have a heart too. It's just easier for me to say it. They're the ones who actually got to do it. But
Right.
man, they're good. They're just great people. And somebody like Bonnie, I was actually able to recently give her a brand new Rolex because of how many people of certain milestones that she's hit and how many people she's been able to impact and help here at Legendary. Great. I'm so glad to hear that. To keep going. What happened next?
So I finished the 15-day challenge. And even in just with that information, it allowed me to go ahead and get started, right? In setting things up for myself. And I told my husband, I know that I need to invest myself in Legendary. I need to immerse myself in Legendary because those are my people. I even told Bonnie that. I said, Bonnie, one of my email subject lines was, these are my people, right? Like, I just knew it. I told my husband, I said, now I do like some of the other, I'm a very spiritual person, so there's a lot of woo-woo in my life. And I believe that you have to have the mindset. You guys teach that as well. You have to have the mindset. And I told my husband, I said, I know it's as true as my eyes are blue, that these are my people and I need to be in this community. It's not even about what it can offer on the sidelines. It's about this community is amazing. And he looked at me and said, your eyes are blue, but you know.
He sounds like a smart ass, just like
right?
you,
So I
and just
dabbled
like
back
me.
and forth. I dabbled back and forth, and it took about a couple weeks for me to be able to invest more. And I did. And I hit the decade in a day on July 1st. And it has been hit the ground running since then. It's been amazing. And I have to say, I did go into the blueprints and I went through one section of it, and there's so much more information. It's amazing, but the community that comes with it, beyond compare. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hit some amazing milestones in just this first month, and I'm not only in the Legendary marketer side of what I'm doing, but in my other business as well. I've been able to apply what I've learned here over there. So it's not just about affiliate marketing. It's about learning the overall and getting the education of the overall aspect of internet marketing. I can sell ice to an Eskimo. I didn't realize the major differences between selling and marketing. Two different things.
Yes. Say it again for the people in the back.
For the back, I didn't. Right? There definitely is a difference, and I did not recognize it. But now that I understand it and been able to get in the community and ask questions and understand more from people that have done more than myself, right? It's been amazing. I mean, the marketing aspect of it. I had one video that I think when I checked last night, it was 6.9 million views. Like, it's just
if you
crazy.
do, let me 6.9 million views. Get out of here.
Yeah. And in fact, one of them, I got an email from Legendary about something, and I used that and turned it into a video. And I think that one is like hundreds of thousands of views.
Well, you should. I mean, it's amazing. People say, you know, I don't have content ideas or whatever, but it's just look around. Our income is directly reflective in marketing of our creativity. And if I know that, then, you know, what can I do to be more creative? Well, I mean, what are some of the things that you've done? You just listed one. So you got an email and you turned it into a piece of content. What are some of the other ways that you are, you know, coming up with things to talk about, that you're coming up with things to email about? Where are you getting those ideas? And how are you, you know, how are you coming up with content ideas? And why do you think you're able to move forward versus, I want to give you the opposite. So the person who says, I don't know what to say in my video, or I don't ever, you know, doesn't know what to write, doesn't know what to say. And that's okay. We don't want to put that person down right now. We want to try to say, hey, look, there's a million. You actually, what I usually try to do is try to show people how much they already know. But what have you done? What did you do to find ideas in not, I almost feel like it's that writer's block, in a sense, like it's that blank page syndrome, where you feel, where you're a writer. Even writers have this. You're a writer, but you're staring at a blank page. So I also want to normalize this for people and let them know that even writers have writer's block. How do you deal with that?
I live a pretty average life. Like, I'm nothing special, right? And I literally use everyday things, whether it is inspiration from walking, you know, outside in my garden and be able to take the time to do that in the morning rather than having to rush around and get ready for my job. right? I
Mm.
integrate that into. Well,
Okay.
yesterday I did one because my dog, everybody loves babies and dogs, right? Like babies and animals, I should say, right? So use
Very
them. If
true.
you've got them, use them. I don't care if it's
Oh,
the neighbor's dog, right? Like go take a video of the neighbor's dog and use it. So I use that. Things that I have heard in discussions with people and in with discussions, because I love to learn from other people's experiences, because one, it stops me from doing some stupid crap sometimes and wasting time, right? But so when you're having those conversations and you're thinking about, wow, I can't believe that person said that, other people would probably feel the same way, right? To be able to share that information. So
yeah.
really it comes from, one, just taking bits and pieces from my everyday life and what I do. And I am an extroverted introvert. Like I like to be at home in my own surroundings, but if you
Yeah.
get me out, I have a good time too, right? So there's those bits and pieces that I use that way when I'm
Yeah.
watching
I got
TV.
a I got a funny story of how I did the same thing, and it was too much. I had my wife get mad at me. She got into a car accident. She got into a car
Mhm.
accident, and actually broke, broke her neck, broke a bone
Oh
in her
no.
neck, broke her neck. And the next day, I'm out there writing an email about it. And then, of course, she subscribed to my list because she always, and she's laying in the hospital, going, "I can't believe you wrote an email about it too soon." And this was 10 years ago. This was 10 years ago, where just it was called ignorance on fire. And what a powerful thing for me, and probably my audience, even though it pissed my wife off. And I totally, and understandably, right? Because she's not even, it just happened. And here I am
Right,
writing about it as if it's not a traumatic event. But that's how eager I was to try things out. I think at the beginning, to sort of fail forward and use any and every little thing. I think one of the biggest things that we also underlook or overlook and undervalue is other people's stories. We all get so
right,
obsessed. We're so self-absorbed and obsessed, all of us. Me too. It's a human condition, and we just immediately start to think about ourselves, how we're going to sound, how we're going to look. And of course, I've mentioned this before, I'm going to keep mentioning it. There's the phenomenon called the liking gap, where we underestimate how much people are going to like us. So that plays into us coming up with an idea and then going, "Oh, nobody's going to like that." That's where I believe that comes in. But I had a lot of that ignorance on fire, and at the beginning, and I used a lot of different examples as well from my life and from just things that would happen on an everyday basis. This wake up show, going through the 15-day challenge, or going and um, I think one other thing, and I want to ask you about this: the combination of entertaining and educating, and how to balance those two. Because if we teach too much in our content, in our marketing content, then it can overwhelm. If we entertain too much and there's absolutely no like educational value, and we're going to sell an educational product, it's there's not a lot of congruency there. So how do you find the balance personally yourself between the edutainment, between the education and doing nothing but like sounding like, hey, I don't know, just doing nothing but education, or nothing but like trying to come up with clever ideas and be entertaining? How do you
right,
find that balance?
right. Well, first off, I don't take myself or my life too seriously. We only have today, so you might as well make yourself goofy and silly and attract those people that are on your same vibe level, right? Because otherwise you're just going to get all the haters, which, not saying haters are bad all the time, but um, for myself, I like to combine them sometimes into like one piece of content. Like, here's a silly something that I did, right? Like, I've got a lot because I do some, according to my husband, some crazy things like talk on my phone and ask him where my phone is, kind of stuff. So bringing those in. But when I'm putting out like content on social media, I tend to try and stick to like three, and I'll do one educational, kind of more educational, one just kind of goofy, one, and then one trendy something or another, whatever a trend may be for that day. And I think that brings it and hits like all different corners of when people are scrolling through your social media videos and stuff like that. So I try and bring it all together. Again, I personally feel like life is all entertainment, so I just use it. Yeah, the good and the bad.
People really want to be entertained more than they want to be educated, and that's a hard truth that you have to swallow, especially as somebody who is in the e-learning and education niche, which I am, and most likely all of you are too, if you want to learn what we're doing, because we're exclusively focusing on selling information here at Legendary, not physical products. A lot of people ask us where to get the t-shirts and so forth. Well, you can get our t-shirts over at belegendary.shop, but it's not an income stream for us because we don't want to, it's just not something, there's so much more profit, so much more impact in selling information.
Right.
And so I forgot where I was going with that, but
that's
what we do here, by the way, in case you didn't know.
One of the things that I like to do is like I add a little bit of something for people to expect. So I do Fun Filter Fridays on my social media. So every Friday I have some funky, filter that's going on that talks about Fun Filter Friday, but then in the end says, hey, if you want to have time to goof around with filters half your day, then follow me, or let's check out what we can do to get you there, kind of thing. So it all merges, but brings them back to a central point for sure. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your videos. We're doing a 5-day Reels challenge inside of a community right now. It's kind of being hosted inside of our Facebook group, our main Legendary Marketer Facebook group. And of course, we're emailing about it. We've got Josh Smith, who's doing some incredible training about, he's cool. He's a good dude. And, you mentioned, I think the large view counts on the videos, on your videos, are from Facebook Reels. Is that correct? Or were they from TikTok?
Nope, absolutely Facebook Reels.
Okay. Yes. So your highest, I think, tell us kind of what's your peak video counts, and then what are like more on an every video basis, what sort of view counts, like what's been, and you're only been doing it for a month, so it's a good, it's relevant. Talk to us a little bit about what's been happening so far with your videos, and then we'll talk about like Facebook Reels versus TikTok and all that.
Yeah. So when I first started putting out the videos, they were getting maybe 1,000, like 1.2, 1,200, something like that. And then, and I was very fortunate, I guess, that it stumbled into me. But about a week into it, I had a video that I was getting dings on my phone, and I was like, what is going on? And I would open the app, and it would the numbers were rolling, and I was like, what is going on here? And I had a video that actually ended up going viral, and I thought it was amazing and crazy when I hit 2 million. But again, when I checked it last night, it was at 6.9 million. Now, it was an edutainment kind of one, right? It's like, this is something that you could do, but here's how you really want to go at things, kind of thing. So, and then for a period of a couple weeks after that, 2 weeks after that, things were climbing higher. So, 254,000 views. The one that I took off of the Legendary email, I think, has 300 some thousand views. But that wave is going to go up and down, and you've got to ride that wave, right? And now when I put up videos, now that it's a couple weeks past that viral, they're about 1,000 to 6,000. And I am like super happy with that. I am super happy with that. Yeah. Right.
I mean, come on, man. I can remember, Betty Jean, somebody wants to find you on Facebook.
Yes. Betty Turner. It's under Betty Turner.
Okay. Gosh, I can remember when getting 1,000 views on a video was going viral. You know what I mean? Like when there was no short form video. And I know I sound like a grandpa telling you how we walked up hill both ways, 2 miles in the snow, but
Yeah.
It's true, man. I mean,
Yep.
golly. So did you go right to Facebook? You're obviously on TikTok and Instagram. Tell us what you see as the difference in how they're working or showing up differently for you.
Yep. So I'm, like you said, I'm a grandma, right? I'm over 50. And I think my demographic is on Facebook. It always has been, right? Like I'm the oldie on Facebook, kind of thing. And that's the people that I attract, and I'm fine with that. So when I started everything, I started a brand new TikTok, I started a brand new Instagram, and I used my existing, don't do that. I used my existing Facebook profile and just switched and started working off of, like, I can't even find now the notifications that come through from my family because I blended it into one. So start everything new. That's tip number one. But I'm not familiar with the other two, right? Like I'm not familiar with the
You're
other
not
two
familiar with
platforms.
TikTok and Instagram?
Yeah, because I've
So
never really.
you basically what you just said was I was putting your Betty Turner, just your name up
Yeah.
there so people could find you.
Yep.
Did you just say that you use like your family face? So are they seeing all your reels and
Oh,
you're now
absolutely.
all of a sudden you're this viral
Absolutely.
sensation?
Why would I? Well, yes, yes. And I mean, whether or not and I kept everybody that I knew on Facebook was people that I physically knew, right? Like I don't have friends that I don't know in real life on my Facebook profile.
I got you.
So I had,
Now you do,
when I
but
switched my
understood
profile
before you
over to
started.
professional, I had 254 followers because they were all the people that I physically knew. And that's who was on my Facebook for the last 12 years, right? Well, now, as of this morning, I think there's 181,000 followers. So when those notifications come through, my family just gets, so I tell them, like, text me. If you don't text me, I'm probably not going to see it.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
how are you navigating the friends, family, and them seeing all your content and all that? Can you touch on that for us? Because that's a
well, what's
real
nice with
awkward pain point for a lot of
yeah,
people.
yeah. What's nice with Facebook is that you can now, with their update, you can adjust whether you see everything or what your timelines are. I don't know if it's for everybody or just rolling out, like across but I can see my news feed. I can change my news feed to friends and family. So only the ones that I have
Oh, I
marked
got
as
you.
friends are then in my news feed, so I
But
can
what
do it
about
that
them
way.
well, but I'm talking about them knowing what you're doing and
Oh,
seeing all your content out there. You don't care, dude. Talk about it.
no, I don't care at all. In fact, I keep telling all of my kids and my grandkids, my oldest grandson is 18 years old. I tell him, I'm like, like, if you want to play video games all day, do it, but make money while you're doing it. Like, this is the best way you could possibly do that. Like, come,
Oh, you're the best
like,
grandma in
tell
the
me,
world.
I won't even charge you.
You were my grandma. I mean, what is going on? Or my
Right?
mom.
Like, yes, yes. And when you have something good
You're not even
and
old enough to be a
legendary
grandma.
marketer
It's just a great marketing thing to say that. You know what I mean? You
like,
you don't look like a grandma. You look like you're maybe a middle-aged mother,
I,
not a grandma. But what's
well,
hilarious about marketing is saying grandma does it. It pulls so many more eyeballs. You know what I mean? Doesn't it?
and I already have, I mean, come on, Grandma Betty, come on. I mean, like I didn't already have a grandma name from birth, right? But I have stepchildren that are much older, so I was a grandma very young. But yes.
Oh, that's great, man.
But
That
yeah,
is
so I
fantastic.
definitely encourage anybody, all of my family, all of my friends, anything. They come and ask me, what do you do? This is it. This is it. Like this, I send them to Legendary. This is the best internet marketing education you are going to be able to get. Invest in it. Invest in it. Without a
Brett
doubt.
says that he's literally a gamer and he's doing this exact thing.
Yes. Yes. Make money
Don't
while
you
doing it.
don't you
Whatever
don't
your
you hate it
passion
when
is.
you're like screaming to like somebody that you know or love but then some strangers like, yeah, I'm totally doing that, but your own like family won't listen to what you're saying. It's a phenomenon, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like telling your child their whole life, don't cross the road without looking, and they just ignore, and they're constantly running out in the road, and you're like grabbing them, like, having nightmares about them getting killed, and then one day they come home and Daddy, you're not going to believe what this homeless man said to me. It was the best piece of advice ever. Look across the road both ways before you. And you're sitting there as their family member, the one that you going, I've been trying to tell you this, but there's some sort of a phenomenon that happens with giving advice or kind of telling friends and family. And I think that it's a good thing. I think that it's a good thing because we need to have that same don't believe them mindset or mentality, especially if they're like criticizing or imposing their limiting beliefs onto us. So, mindset. I want to finish this episode talking about mindset with you. And you had put it in your questionnaire when we'd asked you a couple of questions to fill out before, I think. And I believe we also have it in our headline, how mindset has played a role in your success. How has it?
Again, my number one, well, here's one thing. When I was going through, I don't know if it's in the training or if it was through Bonnie, told me about the book that is recommended, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Poor Dad, Rich Dad, whichever way it goes. And in that, and I think it might have been in the training you go over, I don't know, but anyways, there's a part in there that says whether you are working for yourself, right? Like the 4 stages, I'm working for myself, or you have your own business. And when I read that, or when I listened to that information, it blew my mind seriously because, again, I left my job in 2017, my 9 to 5, in 2017 to work my own business. And I thought I was doing it. And I was to an extent because I was able to make a better income for myself and have time freedom and all that great stuff. But I was still exchanging my time for dollars. Like I could only go so far, right, with making hand products and things like that. So I didn't have a job that somebody else owned. Now I just owned my own job. And when I took that mindset into, I need to switch into automation so that I get my time freedom, so I'm not working in it as much as I'm working on it, that changed everything for me in a perspective to go, you know what, this is about helping other people with a product that you're passionate about or information that you're passionate about that I know is going to change people's lives. Yep, right there. That I know is going to change people's lives.
Yeah.
So when I get into automation, now I can have that time freedom and really be working my own business.
Yeah.
The other thing is, yeah.
I just wanted to mention this cash flow quadrant, and you remember the other thing is what you were talking about was a lot of people go from being employed to being self-employed, meaning that maybe they're a massage therapist and they left and now they're in business for themselves and they're handing out business cards. But the problem is if they don't show up, still they're in that stage where they don't make money. That means you're self-employed. Yeah, you own your job. It's oftentimes not a better place to be in, although we think it is. And that's why there's so many small businesses across America, is because there's even more in the business graveyard because people thought they were going to branch at everybody. I've even got some artificial turf that's being installed here at our office house, and one of the guys is like, yeah, I have my own business, I work on the weekends. And it's just like, well, that's great, but if you don't get beyond that self-employed place where you have a system that works for you, that means people and processes, not changing every week, not a new offer, not a new business, not a new shiny object, not this week I'm doing Etsy, this week I'm doing affiliate marketing, this week I'm selling products from China, but you own a system. That means people and processes that happen day in and day out, like McDonald's, like any of these other businesses that have a product and they just make that product better over time. Instead of, imagine if Bill Gates was like, you know what, Microsoft is awesome, but I'm bored with it, so I'm just going to shut it down. I'm going to go do this thing over here. Or Steve Jobs, or any Elon Musk, or any of these other entrepreneurs that we always talk about. And there's both wonderful, male and female entrepreneurs. But unless we get over to that place where we have people in systems or processes that are working for us, and then ultimately people stop there. They think, okay, here's the secret. I found it. It's multiple streams of income. And then they think it's creating multiple businesses. It's not. How to protect your business, you create multiple streams of income and traffic within the same business. So the business becomes bulletproof, and you create your multiple streams of income from the cash that comes from that cash cow business by investing in gold, stocks, real estate, collectibles, anything else, any other assets, bonds, whatever you want to buy, land. And then you have assets and likely additional streams of income. But it's so easily misunderstood. I'm glad that you brought that up in the fact that you had, that clicked for you. You really got
Mhm.
that. And you also took the reading, which we don't give much because I'm not a big reader. I'm just not. I was a high school dropout, don't enjoy, I've got too much ADD. It's not anything against people that read, but we give out like one reading assignment, and you read it. That's cool. And you got so much out of it, and it completely shifted your mindset. And it's just such a great testament to actually just working a little bit harder now, so you don't have to work as hard later, because you already know what you're doing, versus I'm going to put this off, let me just figure out some quick way. But you always end up working hard because you didn't do the hard work at the beginning. And then we complain about the results we didn't get from the work we didn't do. Well, you took the damn book recommendation. Good for you. You were also talking about, something else that I wanted you to, continue on. What else was that was a big mindset multiplier for you? Do you remember what that was? I was like, hold that thought. No, you forgot it.
There's so many things. The other thing is that I did have shiny object syndrome. Like, I had exactly what you were talking about. Like, I thought, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's go there. So I now use focus, right? Like, I follow one course until success. Focus, like, get it.
Wow. That's a really cool acronym.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean courses and,
I don't know
like,
that I've
go buy
ever heard
another
that
course.
before.
That's a course of action. That's a course of action. Follow it.
Yeah. It can be too
Yeah.
confusing if you're following too many courses of learning, right? Which is what we always do, because we get involved with something. It's time to take action, and then it's like, I don't want to do this work. Then I get kind of pulled back by some other shiny object thing because it looks appealing, and also because my brain chemistry has more fun from shopping than it does from actually taking the thing home and putting it together. That's another thing that we got to realize as human beings, is that I like to go and shop and look around and, watch and get excited and try shit on and look, but it's then when it comes time to wear that shit to work or to bring that thing home and put it together, man, I don't want to do that. I want to go back shopping again. You know what I mean? I've gone shopping a lot of times and brought home bags and didn't even get it, and it just sat there.
Yeah.
Because we really do get a true chemical hit from shopping and from seeking, what comes up for you as I say that? Does that ring true to you?
Absolutely. I have spent, don't tell my husband, he's going to see this anyway, but I've spent thousands of dollars recklessly on past courses that I have never sometimes even finished, right? Or when you finish it, you don't have what's next. You don't have anything next. And what's nice, like I said, with Legendary is you have the community. You can reach out to anyone. There's so many people in all the different groups that are able, not that you have 1,000 groups, but in the core groups that are able to give you good, solid advice from experience. And you don't get that when you just buy somebody's course and you lollygag home with it, right? Like that's a huge thing.
Well, I mean, if somebody, the people, when I talk to people and they say, hey, look, I went through the challenge, made a decision that I was going to get serious about this, invested in the blueprints, invested in myself, went through the training, and also engaged in the coaching in the community.
Yep.
Put my anchor down. And that doesn't mean I have to stay on the boat the whole time, but it means I hang out around the island. You know what I mean? I put my
Yep.
anchor down and I go see this person or that person or go hang out on the island a little bit, but I don't drift off to a new foreign land that we're going to get snatched up by
Right.
pirates. And so,
Yep.
the internet trolls, the
Yeah.
snake oil salesmen, the people who
Right.
are here today, gone tomorrow, your new mentor who just popped into your Facebook inbox. I mean,
Right.
we actually have people who email customer support who say, I just had somebody from your Facebook group sell me a fiber of $10,000 coaching program, and then they disappeared with my money. And well, it's like, look, life comes along with the requirement for a little bit of common sense, folks, and we got to be responsible. I know that's hard to hear. I know the person that had that happen doesn't want to hear that, but the truth of the matter is that we got to be a little bit more responsible for ourselves and responsible for our course of action, and realize that. And also listen to the stories. Somebody commented, thank you for your courageous, vulnerable comment that you had bought the blueprints and watched a video or two and not continued. Somebody left that in the comments. And that was also the common theme we see at every event. If anybody's unclear, and then we try to learn a little bit more about what they've done or seen or not seen, we always find out they just didn't go through our training. They might even already own it. And so remember that about your chemistry, like your actual brain chemicals, that we love to shop so much more than we love to actually just take the shit out of the bag when we get home. And so we have to unpack some of this stuff and do something different if we want to get something different. If we do the same old thing, we're going to get the same old thing. And if we're going to do that, we should just, the best, most noble and honorable thing, if you're going to do that, is just do that quietly. Don't come back and blame others for your inaction, because that's all it is. And it happens all over the world. It's inaction. And it mostly comes from comfort, right? Because when our ass is on fire, or we're really in pain, or we're really desperate. So it doesn't look like you're sitting under a bridge or homeless or whatever. Could you share some of your motivation? What is driving you? And what is, that was such a great example with, hey, I had a mindset shift because I read this book. It wasn't like the skies parted and God delivered stone tablets that said, mind over matter, and you had an epiphany. You read a book recommendation. So how are you how are you navigating these other parts of your business that I'm mentioning here?
First off, I have to say, I didn't read the entire book. I skimmed it, right? That's what we do. But it was something that was presented that really hit me in that way, that made me think of that. The other thing was, you have to put the roots down, right? Like, you have to finally say, this is what I'm going to invest in. Like, your mindset shifts that way. When you commit to it and you believe it, again, as much as I believe my eyes are blue, I know that eventually, years down, I already have my 2 opening lines for when I speak at one of your masterminds. Like, I know that it's going to be coming, right? Like, it's truth. You have to have that in yourself, because when other people, and if I said to you, I don't like your blue hair, are you going to take offense to it? Well, probably not if you don't have blue hair, right? Probably not. Why? Because you know that your hair is not blue. So it doesn't matter, like, this person's crazy, right? You have to have that same mindset when it comes to when other people try and tear you down and tell you that you're not worthy or whatever it is in business and through life, right? You have to be like, well, have that same indifference. I know that that's not true. I know it's not true. I know what my truth is. Right. So that's a huge thing. The other thing is, go to bed with a smile on your face every night. Like, you got in a whole nother day, right? To be able to achieve and receive. Right. So what you do with it is your choice.
Attitude. It's
Yeah.
it's really such a powerful thing. I just hear such a bright, I hear I hear a positive attitude. I hear a grateful heart, and I hear somebody who, and I hear somebody who wants to help. But I also read that, and actually, why don't you share a little bit about some of what you had wrote in on your questionnaire that we asked you a couple of questions, and you said, hey,
Yep.
I don't. There's some other things I could do with some money, some other things I want to do. Could you talk about that? I thought that was pretty cool.
Absolutely. So I think that it would be absolutely amazing to be able to so I don't fly or float, so I won't ever go out of the United States probably. So I can't travel to other countries, but to be able, how amazing would it be to be able to be sitting there in a restaurant or whatever and hearing people talking about not being able to get their car fixed to be able to go to work, or not being able to make their mortgage payment, or having this wonderful house where they're growing family and they can't afford the down payment. And to be able to go over there and go, you know what, I heard that. I've been there, or maybe you haven't, but I want to be able to help. And here you go. And just be able, how crazy amazing would that feel? Like, I think
Mm,
that would be the ultimate to hear somebody say they want to start their own business, but they don't have the money. Okay, here you go. I don't want anything in return. I don't even know you, maybe. There you go. To just be
mm,
that shoestring philanthropist that goes around and just sprinkles goodness on everybody else's life. Amazing.
yeah,
I don't care if I have to do that through business, or if I'm going to win the Powerball pot, or jackpot, whatever it is. But
yeah.
that's one of the goals, and I try and do that in this day, even if it's paying for the person in the drive-through behind me at McDonald's that morning or
Mm,
whatever,
yeah,
because it's just such a rise.
it
And it
is.
keeps you connected, and at the same time it keeps you grounded, because you
Yeah,
have the ability to be able to do that because of your own efforts. So it's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that I've had some of those experiences of being able to, give sometimes anonymously, and
Hmm.
sometimes, where the person who it was me, but it is very fulfilling, and it's oftentimes the smaller things. I've certainly been able to do some bigger things, but it's definitely the smaller things, the being able to leave a nice tip instead of being such a
Right.
cheapo when the bill comes, when the girl, you're the guy, you can tell has just had a rough day, or is having a rough life. Honestly, that's some of the places where I like to try to be giving, is where I see people who are, like you said, putting forth an effort, out working, whatever, but they're just not, you can tell they're not getting by very well. And it's tough. It's hard. Yeah, the world is like such, it's such a rough place for so many people. It's
It is.
such a hard place for so many people. And the fact that we have, 10 fingers, 10 toes, at least I do, and I don't know if you don't have all 10 of your fingers or toes, that's it's fine. Uh, but that we're healthy and able, and can do what we're doing. It's just such a, I go to bed with a smile on my face, or I try to every night too, because I feel
Yep.
so lucky. I literally feel so lucky that I stumbled and fumbled into this information.
Right.
I fumbled, and just like, I mean, I was in the same position. I was just looking for a way to maybe recruit more friends into my MLM back in
Oh yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I
Yep.
just stumbled onto this stuff. It wasn't like and it's the gift that's never stopped giving, because here I am, and what are we in our 12th year? My wife's standing right here. We're
I
in our
wanted to see you. You're so awesome.
this
Hey.
She sounds just like Bonnie.
yeah, Bonnie was on as well, and she said hi. She was on in the comments,
Aw.
and a lot of times she
Oh,
attends these Wake Up Legendaries as well, and
Well,
but she
now I
said
know what
hello.
you look like, so I'll be able to spot you when you speak at the mastermind.
there you
Yeah,
go. Right. I'll
yeah,
be at your table.
love you.
Love you. Bye.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. You know what I mean? It's the gift that cash, big dog, big cash. Cash, what a story he has. He was at the mastermind, and his wife signed up while he was high on narcotics from getting his surgery on his knee and out of it. And then he came to, and then she couldn't get off work to come to the mastermind. So he was like, what mastermind? She was like, you ready to go in a week? He's like, what mastermind? He was like, I ain't going to no mastermind. And then he went over to the computer, started going through the challenge. He was like, I'm going to this shit. Sign me up. I'm sorry you can't go, but I'm going. And it was great. Cash, what's up, my man? Good to see you. All right. Well, cool. Let's wrap it up. Hey, fantastic show. Great way to bridge the gap during this Reels challenge that we're doing. Somebody who's crushing it with Reels, but also so many nuggets and lessons and incredible energy and stories. So thank you. And yes, back and come. I want you to speak at our mastermind, and I want you to keep coming and sharing your story and your energy. And we're here to soak that up as much as you're willing to give it. So thanks for your time, and thanks for crushing it. And tell your husband that he's obviously a lucky guy, and
I will make sure I tell him that.
Yeah, well, I mean, golly, I mean, I've always been the one who's been the big dreamer in my marriage and been the big kind of, so I'm in love with my wife and would not change her. Although I did try to change her for many years and did not appreciate her strengths, wanted her strengths to be my strengths. And we'd be broke in price somewhere on a, who knows where across the world we'd be if we both were me. But she balances us out. She holds us down where I want to float away. But I imagine it's quite an adventure being married to you with your ideas and all the different things that you've done.
That's what he says. Yes.
Yeah. So, all right, Betty. Well, thanks for your time today, and stay legendary. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thank you.
See ya. All right. You can follow Betty on Facebook. That's where she's most active. And she said she's most active there because it was where she already had some familiarity with being on Facebook. Right. And she said that's where, the majority of my age demographic and stuff is. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. Facebook was the original place that sort of all the people that didn't want to be on MySpace went to, if you remember all the way back. And it sort of stayed that platform where all these other platforms, TikTok and even Instagram, was more geared towards, or at least younger audiences tried to flock there to try to get away from the adults. The adults, of course, always followed. But Facebook is making a massive comeback with these Reels. We're doing this Reels challenge. We've had incredible feedback and participation so far, and some amazing results. The results oftentimes will be delayed. Remember that. You're not going to just, participate in a free 5-day challenge and then by the end of it be rich and famous on Facebook. But holy shit, you might actually start something. You know what I mean? You might get it off the ground. You might actually get it off the ground and get it rolling to where you don't want to stop it from rolling. And that's our goal. And we've had an incredible amount of people who have launched their career from one of these free challenges that we've done inside of our Facebook. So even if you're new, know that you've got it. We're not going to take it out of the group. Participate this week and look at it as a catalyst, as a springboard, not as the end all be all. It's just a tool that even our experienced members are using to reignite. So sometimes you need to do that. You need to come over and just squirt a little gasoline on your fire. And that's what we're doing here. So yes, amazing episode. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another one. We've got Decade in a Day for New Blueprint students tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and then wake up show again at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Blueprints coaching session today as well. It's Thursday. Some days I lose track of what day it is. Lots of stuff going on, my friends. Lots of support. We're here to help you and to support you every step of the way, both us and our community. Be legendary. And thank you, Betty, again for an amazing episode.